Hey guys, Dan here from Your Guitar Academy and welcome to Unit 3 in our Electric Blues Guitar course. And what we're going to be doing in this awesome unit is tackling this concept of the major and minor pentatonic crossover. So if you've ever come across any blues tracks or licks or anything like that, you'll notice that we're not just straight ahead using major pentatonic, or we're not straight ahead using minor pentatonic. We seem to be using this kind of blend of the two combined inevitably with some chord tones as well. So there's loads going on, and I'm going to break it down for you really clearly in this unit. And in this lesson specifically, we're going to look at the main principle behind the whole thing. So it's a massive lesson, so pick your guitar up and let's get started. Hey guys, so if you're just tuning in, then do remember that you can head on over to the website to get all of the interactive tab, the fretboard diagrams, and the full write-ups for every single lesson. It looks great on the mobile, on the desktop, however you're viewing it. Head over there and we'll put the links in the description and in this video. Also, please do like and subscribe to this video if you're enjoying it so far and if you're enjoying the course, as well as leave us a comment. We make sure we get back to every single comment that you guys leave. Okay, so when you're hearing that little bit of improvisation, what you're listening to is a combination of major pentatonic and minor pentatonic. And let's just first of all deal with the reason why we can do that. And it probably goes quite deep, but I like to keep it pretty simple. And the simple way that I've always looked at it, and something that works for me and makes sense, is that essentially over this chord, let's take the dominant chord of A, for example. This dominant chord has major and minor elements. Of course, it's got your root and your fifth. And that's nondescript. You know, that can be major, that can be minor, that can be anything. You know, that's your power chord, okay? When you bring in the major third, you know, that's obviously going to lean towards that major sound. That's going to bring in the concept of adding a major sound to that, okay? So your major pentatonic. But then you've got that flattened seventh, which, as you can hear from that straight away, there's the root, there's the flattened seventh. It brings in more of a minor element. You'd expect to see a flat seven in a minor seventh chord, a minor type chord, because it's an altered from the major, okay? So the fact that you've got both the major third and the flattened seventh means that you've kind of got this license, this invitation, if you will, to use both the major pentatonic that really lines up with that major element of the chord, and the minor pentatonic that lines up with the minor element of that chord, okay? And the best thing is, once you've kind of got the gist of that, you can even do that basic, take the key of the track, so A, for example, and use the A major and A minor pentatonic across the entire 12-bar blues. It works over every single chord for different reasons, but it does work over every single chord. And it's something that you can try, do a lot of trial and error with, but I'm going to kind of be guiding you through that here and in future courses as well. So, how cool is that, right? And that means that, you know, when it comes to options with your soloing, you can choose to create a sweet major tone. You know, or you can choose to do a more aggressive minor kind of tone. Okay, you've got access to both of those, okay? And what we're going to start doing in this unit is actually blend the two together. So it's all very well saying, okay, I can go between major and minor, but actually, how do I do that? What are the techniques? What do good blues players do with that, rather than just scale by scale, okay? So that's what we're going to work with. And the first thing we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to start combining in one position. So we're going to take this position here. So this is our first position typically in any key, whereby we've got the root note on the E string. We've got our E-shaped cage chord, but at the end of the day, like I said, even when we go to the 4 chord or the 5 chord, we can still use this technique over all of it, okay? It's just like how you would know that over the key of A major, you can solo in A major. Okay? When you're dealing with A minor, you can solo over every chord in the key of A minor with the A minor scale, okay? Because all the notes just fit. And here in A blues, so that's typically what the key would be called rather than A major or A minor, A blues, you can use the major and minor pentatonic over the whole thing. It just fits well across all the chord shapes, which is excellent. So, let's do this, shall we? So, in this position, we've got our minor pentatonic box 1. And you guys all know that shape. You know, you can even bring in the blues scale now, that flat 5th note that we've been working with. And that's where you kind of draw the minor elements from. So if you play the chord, you know, you're very often going to see riffs based around this chord. That are based around that kind of minor pentatonic sound, okay? So that's the first bit there. But also underneath that position there, okay, if I now put my second finger on the root of A, I can play an A major pentatonic box 2. Now that is a big deal, okay? Because if you think about it, I mean, hopefully you guys know how to find A major in general, and that's the first place I would look to, okay? Basically, underneath this kind of bar chord, in this instance we've made it a dominant chord, the major pentatonic box that's easy to locate underneath that is box 1. Box 2. Definitely not box 1, box 2. And if you've done the Hendrix course or any of the cage stuff, then we'd have gone through this, you'll know this, okay? So, what we're getting at here, that's how you would typically find them. So just take it as a given now, guys, okay? Don't think any harder about it. Underneath this chord, or in this position where you might play your 12-bar blues, but certainly starting from that root note, you've got box 1 in minor, which you can expand to the blues scale, and box 2 in major. Okay. And actually, when you start combining the two of those, that's how you get this interplay, okay? So when you literally, and this is going to look crazy, okay? But when you literally combine all those notes together, you get this. So you get, that's the root, then the second, then the flat third, then the major third, the 4th, okay? The 5th, we get the 5th. If you had the blues note, you could even have that one as well. Then you get the 6, the flat 7, and the root. So you basically kind of got, then you get the major third, sorry, that's not the major, second, minor third, major third, and then we're going up to the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the flat 7, the root, the 2nd, and the flat 3rd. So you get this awesome looking thing. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting a scale shape together like that, because that's maybe a little bit too much integration. What we need to be able to do is neat and tidy bluesy ways of combining the two. That's what I'm going to be showing you. In the next lesson, I'm going to be showing you 2 licks that use this idea. But for now, I need you to get familiar with this first, okay? So what I want you to do is really simply, just to start with, so with any kind of backing track in the key of A for now, you know, I'm just going to put this loop on that I did earlier. I'm just going to go through my minor pentatonic box 1, and then down through my major box 2. Then up through major, box 2, and then minor, box 1 down. Okay. And you can hear how you're really manipulating these two sounds. It's really awesome. Nothing is really clashing. It's sounding great. It's a different sound. You've got to get used to it, of course, because anything in the blues isn't going to sound as perfect as a major or minor key, you know, because we are fundamentally using chords that create some tension all the way through. Okay. But it's all about getting familiar with the difference between that major and minor. So when I hit that major, so box 2. I'm really tempted to make these kind of very melodic. When I go for that minor, I'm more tempted to kind of do that more traditional lick sound, you know, where you're really you're going for it, you're hitting it a bit more aggressively. You know, more scalier. So it's all about just, at the moment, just kind of getting familiar with the two different sounds and the interplay between the two, and just blending it on a very basic level. So down in minor, up in major, then down in major and up in minor, okay? And that will just start to play out. So you really start to get a basic feel for it. And then what we'll do in the next lesson is we'll take that theory, that concept, and I'm going to give you some really usable blues licks using exactly that. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Please do remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We do our absolute best to answer every single comment. If you've got questions, here is the place to write them so that we can get back to you and really help you out with this stuff. If you want to carry on with this course and you're loving it, then you can find the next lesson right here. And you can start the whole thing, the whole playlist is here on YouTube as well. So click one of those two links and I'll see you in the next lesson.